Hello, everybody. My name is Debashish Roy. I'm the Senior Network Analyst at the Indian Cybersecurity Solutions, and I welcome you all to this webinar about the optimizing AWS Lambda performance for real-time applications. So you already know that AWS is a giant, the market leader in the cloud, and not only in the cloud, say different services like the EBS, the S3, the EC2, but it has also develop the AWS Lambda functions that is, you can say, used for the programming, the scripting, or the automation level. So let's begin. So we'll explore how to enhance the AWS Lambda efficiency here and what are the different strategies for real-time application performance optimization using the AWS Lambda. So what is a Lambda? AWS Lambda is a serverless compute service. Serverless means that what? There is no server. So without a cloud server, what you are doing or what you are performing? No, definitely there is a server, but that is deployed on the cloud. So whatever you are using, the say the Lambda service that is deployed on the cloud, you are not having any on-premise server environment. That is known as a serverless computing. And for the serverless computing, you should have this programming ability, and for that, AWS Lambda is there. And it can automatically manage the infrastructure for running code. So you do not need to make the code yourself, but the code is there running on the cloud server itself, and you can run the code remotely there. That is the power of this Lambda. And we'll explore in this presentation the strategies for enhancing the efficiency and performance of real-time applications using Lambda. Like you can use Lambda to make some IoT applications also, like some web development or some say automation level tasks. So like you are updating some data in the say DynamoDB table, database table, so that also you can do. So we'll understand the AWS Lambda basics. So Lambda enables you to run code without provisioning or managing servers. So it means that you do not have any on-premise server that you have to deploy, you have to activate, you have to provision or manage. You do not need that. You will use a server that is in the cloud infrastructure. So every responsibility is with the cloud environment. So you do not have the responsibility of managing the server, or you are not responsible for the cost dependency is not there. So the cost is low and you are using the cloud resource to manage your apps using the Lambda function. Now the functions are triggered by events. So there'll be some triggers and it will be triggered by the events, and it allows for scalable and some cost effective computing. So you have to understand these basics definitely for essential for optimizing the performance and efficiency in the real-time applications. So this is the part of the Lambda function. Then also performance metrics, that is also important here. Now to enhance AWS Lambda efficiency is very crucial to monitor the performance metrics, because without monitoring, without sufficient auditing, you cannot get the best performance here. So such as invocation duration, error rates, and concurrency, these are the different parts of the software, this development cycle, this coding. So this is also important, and you have to utilize these metrics, and it will help to identify bottlenecks, any problems, and optimize resource allocation for improved performance, application performance there. So you have to use these performance metrics very wisely. So you have to optimize the function code as well. Now, optimizing your function code is vital for, say, reducing execution time, because you have to execute it smartly and very efficiently, very quickly. So that is the thing you need to do. And these techniques include minimizing the package size. So whatever you are deploying, whatever you are managing, so that should be minimum, that should be ready to be served there. And using efficient algorithms you have to use, and avoiding unnecessary computation and complications there. So a well-optimized function can significantly enhance overall application performance there. So you have to optimize the Lambda function code also. Then memory and timeout setting is very important. Adjusting your memory and timeout setting can lead to better performance. then you have to allocate more memory for the more memory intensive task, as we know. And it not only provides more CPU power, but it can also reduce execution time. And you have to find the right balance. That is the key to maximizing the efficiency. So you have to provide that efficiency here in that Lambda performance as well. Like you are running an EC2 instance, or you are storing any data in the S3 bucket or EBS volume, there also you have to adjust the memory. And like here also you have to adjust the memory in the Lambda function. Now using asynchronous invocation, now it can improve performance by allowing the Lambda function to process request without waiting for any completion. So it can do it very quickly in a very less time. And this method, this asynchronous invocation, is particularly useful for tasks now that can be executed in the background. Also, it can enhance user experience in real-time applications. So it can overall increase the performance of the cloud. Now you can leverage the power of the AWS services also, like the S3 bucket, the DynamoDB database that I was telling you, and API gateway also with this Lambda function, and it can actually streamline different processes, different tasks there. Now also these services can handle specific tasks or events, now allowing Lambda to actually focus on the core function, core task, thereby enhancing overall application efficiency and performance. Now cold starts optimization, that is also a feature. Cold starts can impact performance in serverless environments. Now there are some strategies like the provision concurrency and keeping functions warm. These also mitigate this issue, ensuring quicker response time. So every time, like you are doing any automation, like you are doing any automation task, so there also you need to do it very quickly. The response time should be very low, so you have to be very quick in that response time for developing the real-time applications. Monitoring and logging is also important. Effective monitoring and logging is essential or crucial for identifying the performance issues. Like utilize AWS CloudWatch to track metric and say set alarms or warnings also to respond quickly to any anomaly, ensuring your applications run smoothly. Now, in case of best practices, say you have to implement best practices such as the efficient coding, proper configuration, and say regular monitoring can significantly improve AWS Lambda performance. Now, a proactive approach definitely ensures that your applications remain responsive and say efficient under varying loads. So these you have to actually analyze the Lambda performance, and you have to make a proactive approach there. So also you have to examine the real world case studies, and it will help you to understand how organizations have successfully enhanced the AWS Lambda efficiently. And say insights from these experiences can provide many valuable lessons for you and inspire innovative optimization strategies. So these should be there. So we can conclude here that enhancing AWS Lambda efficiency is very crucial for say optimizing the real-time application performance, and you can implement this discuss strategies and staying say updated with AWS development. So it is for the development function. It is for the AWS say developer level. If you are going for that say certification, any developer certification, or even if you're going for the solution architect associate, also there is a small part for this AWS Lambda also. So you have to learn this Lambda functions, and this organization by deploying this function can ensure that the application are robust and efficient. So this is about the discussion about what is the Lambda, why is the Lambda used, and how can you use the Lambda function. And now we can straight go to the AWS console. This is the console of the AWS, and here you can go to the Lambda. So you can run code without thinking about servers. So this is the serverless computing that you can see. So this is a function. So there is already one function that you can see that already that function is there, and we have definitely code source there, but We can deploy, say, another function also. So this is the code there. This is the code that is uploaded there in the Lambda, where it is actually the Lambda function that is actually importing some modules, and also it is updating some features, some attributes in the DynamoDB database. So this Lambda function is actually having a close relation with the DynamoDB database. If you make a database there, so you can upload these functions also, and it will, you have to create this table, this ISIS or any 1 2 3 4, any table name you have to give. You have to make sure that this table is there, this database is readily available there. And here you can actually, it is recording some events, like if you are putting any such objects, say example file folder, any such objects, if you put inside the, say, the S3 bucket. So here in this case, so it is retrieving that object properties there, and it is retrieving the name, the size, these things, and it's recording the event name, event time, these timestamps it is recording, and it is uploading in the DynamoDB database, that is ISIS, that is a table, is uploading there. So here you are using this Lambda function, is a Python based code, to upload the attributes of the files or folders, whatever you are uploading, say any JPG or MPG or any text document, Word document, anything, to the S3 bucket, and it is recording the attributes, and it is updating in the DynamoDB database table. So that is like the automation, you can say. And this is the power of the Lambda that I was telling you, that for serverless applications, serverless computing, this Lambda is used. And also we are making this table, we have to make this table, otherwise it will not work. And this unique, it is like the primary key that is in the database. So according to that, the primary key, the data will be stored and retrieved, and it will store a string value, and the bucket name will retrieve, and the object. So this is a code that these are the different codes available in the GitHub or any other place. And you can also make some codes there. You can download this code, and also you can see that there is a trigger function. So what happens that whenever any code, any, say, event, not only code but any event is generated in the S3 bucket, anything is uploaded, so this trigger is added, this S3 bucket. You can also click on this add trigger, and it will select a source. So you can see that the trigger can be anything. It can be an application load balancer, API gateway, anything, or you can have this S3. So there it will show you the S3 bucket. So here the bucket is not there, bucket is already deleted, but if you have made any bucket, so it will take that bucket. And also here you can select the object events for any object events when the objects are put, post, copy, or even it is deleted. So where it will invoke the trigger will invoke the Lambda function whenever you are performing this type of get, post, put, delete, all these operations. And then it will invoke the Lambda function. It will wake up, and it will retrieve the attributes of the file and folders, and definitely it will post it, it will upload it in the DynamoDB database or any other RDS. So there you have to make this code, running, and then you can actually retrieve a lot of data there. So that is a Lambda console there. So not only these applications, but it has some definitely some functions, Lambda functions and applications. A lot of things are there. So here also you can create any application, Lambda application, or you can say with using Node.js environment, you can select a CI/CD pipeline application or serverless application. This is totally for the application or app development. For this Lambda function is used. So there are a lot of options that you can see for many languages, and you can actually compose it. You can also build many, say, IoT applications also using the API gateway, DynamoDB, Lambda. So all these things you can do, and also you can schedule job with the CloudWatch events also. So all these things are integrated in the Lambda. Also the queue processing or the simple queuing service, SQS, also it is a Lambda function to process messages from an Amazon SQS queue. So all these things are related, and its runtime is a Node.js. So here you can see that this is, you have to develop your coding, your application development. So you have different options in this Lambda. So this is actually the function that you can see. It is in the Lambda. So Lambda is like the for the application development. It is not for totally for the network architecture, but this is for application development, the AWS say DevOps or the development level part. Because you see that the cloud is not only about architecture development, or it is not only dependent on the underlying the networking or the hardware. That is one part. You have to definitely do that. You have to build your own hardware or network functions, network services you have to deploy. And then you have to go for the serverless computing. Not only you are migrating the data to the cloud, or you are making the VPC, you are doing load balancing, you are implementing auto scaling. Yes, you have to do that. But apart from that, there is another part, that is the software development part, the API development. And for that, this Lambda function, this Python based Lambda function code is there for you. So it is inbuilt, that is in the AWS, and you can use it for your app development. So I hope that you have got a good understanding about this Lambda function. This is a feature that is in the AWS, like we have that in Azure, like the PowerShell, the shell program, the Bash shell. Those are there. So in every OS, you'll find this type of software development feature, and also in the cloud, we have this in our AWS. So I hope that you will be able to use this function also to build your Lambda functions for your cloud servers, and also you can deploy it in your enterprise network for best performance. And also it will be helpful for your studies for the AWS Solution Architect Associate or any other certification examination where it includes the AWS Lambda functions and its capabilities. So I thank you all again for joining this and watching this webinar, and I'll come with some new topic next time. Till then,